Am I the a-hole for refusing to take my ex back, but accepting my fiancé's kids? Original post. My ex-husband, let's call him Frank, and I got married deeply in love. After a while, I found out I couldn't have children. Frank wanted kids, and he told me he didn't want to leave me but also wanted to have a child with someone else. I couldn't accept that. Later, I found out he had gotten a woman from his workplace pregnant. He told me he didn't want to divorce me and still wanted to be with me, but I couldn't stay. Despite his resistance, I divorced him, and he married the mother of his child. This was 2 years ago. Now I'm with someone new. Let's call him Mark. Mark is kind, understanding, and has been a great support system for me after everything with Frank. I love him deeply. He has 2 sons from his previous marriage, ages 3 and 5. They stay with him every other weekend and see him regularly during the week. He's a great dad, and I admire that about him. Mark and I recently decided to get married, and I'm really happy about it. But ever since Frank found out, he has been trying to contact me. Today, he showed up outside my work. He accused me of being a hypocrite, accepting Mark's kids but refusing to accept his. He said that all he ever wanted was to build a life with me and grow old together, and that I was being unfair for not accepting him under the same circumstances. Logically, I see why he thinks it's the same situation, but it doesn't feel the same. The thought of Frank and his child still hurts me, yet I don't feel the same way about Mark and his kids. Frank insists it's the same, but is it? Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Logically, I see why he thinks it's the same situation. I mean, no, it's not remotely the same situation. The first situation wasn't about not accepting his child, it was about infidelity and betrayal. In her current relationship, it seems like he is loyal and has not stepped outside their relationship. In fact, the ex continues to show he is disloyal by trying to get together with someone when he is already married. Dude needs counseling. Exactly. Infidelity and betrayal aren't the same as a pre-existing child. Frank's just trying to twist the narrative. An affair baby is not even remotely the same as marrying a parent. Trust me, being cheated on and accepting stepkids are 2 completely different planets. Your ex's logic is laughably flawed. Now for the edit and update. Wow, I didn't expect to receive this much support. Thank you all so much. I wanted to address a few things that came up in the comments. Surgery was not an option for me. We consulted multiple doctors, and in the end, we had to accept that I wouldn't be able to have children. That time was especially difficult for me, and Frank was my biggest source of support. Adoption was also off the table because Frank didn't want it. He wanted biological children. He told me, I don't want to raise someone else's child. I was the one who first suggested divorce back then, but he swore he would never leave me. He even said, it will always be just the 2 of us until the end. And I believed him. Frank and I met in high school and were together for 10 years. I think that's why he knows exactly how to get to me. After our conversation today, I started doubting myself. I even felt like I was the one at fault. Thank you all for helping me see things from my perspective again. I feel much more certain now. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend I told you so, and then dumping her over her male best friend? I'm 26 years old and male. My now ex-girlfriend is 25. We dated for a year. I'll call her Cindy. When Cindy and I started dating, she told me early on that she had a male best friend, Greg. For the record, I need to say here that I fully believe that a man and a woman can have a completely platonic and mutually rewarding friendship without either ever acting inappropriately. About 6 months after we started dating, Cindy finally introduced me to Greg. We went to a restaurant to get some drinks and food. I really liked Cindy, and so I was naturally excited to meet her best friend. When we showed up at the restaurant, immediately after shaking my hand, Greg compared his height to mine. I'm 5'9", and he is something like 6'2". He did that thing that elementary school students do, where they put their palm on the top of their head and move it out in a straight line. He was demonstrating that he was much taller than me. I chuckled, thinking it was just in line with his personality, and Cindy got a laugh out of it too. Over dinner, Greg contradicted me on virtually everything I said. He was relentless. I'd talk about something for about 30 seconds, and he'd move his head to the side and say, well, then go into details about how I was wrong. Cindy seemed to be having a good time though, so I sucked it up. But what bothered me more than anything was the way he looked at Cindy. She must be the most obtuse person in the world to not notice. When she bent over to pick up her bag after dinner, he checked out her butt too. On the Uber ride home, Cindy and I got into an argument about Greg. I said that I was really uncomfortable with her being friends with him. I then elaborated on everything, how he kept trying to one-up me, that he checked out her butt, how he looked at her. She said that I was being dramatic. The argument turned kind of nasty, and about a block away from our apartment, Cindy decided to get out. In the unlikely event that our Uber driver is reading this, sorry man, I didn't want to make things awkward for you. Cindy and I fought. We made up, and I thought I had convinced her that Greg was bad news. She agreed to distance herself from him. Well, last night I learned that she hadn't. Cindy called me at 11 p.m. or so, clearly distraught, saying she needed a ride home. I asked what had happened, and she said, don't be mad, but Greg tried to kiss me. I was admittedly kind of ticked off, but the too long didn't read was 1. Greg invited her over to his place for drinks. 2. Greg got her to drink a lot. 3. Greg went in for a kiss. 4. Cindy dodged him and left. 5. Greg first followed her until she screamed at him, drawing the attention of his neighbors. Cindy was super drunk, and so after picking her up, I decided to talk about it with her in the morning. I organized my talking points in advance, but simply, after she woke up, I told her that she betrayed my trust by meeting Greg. I told her that he was a creep, and that our relationship was over. Cindy is now calling me a victim blamer. She's really upset about how I broke up with her when she was sick, see hungover. Am I really the a-hole for ending a relationship like this? Let's be honest, you didn't break up with her because she almost got assaulted. You broke up with her because she told you that she'll keep her distance from Greg. But not only she kept in contact with him, but decided to hang out alone and drink with him. So that's lying, manipulation, and idiotic added to the list of red flags. Not the a-hole. Watch her tell all her friends and family that OP dumped her because she almost got assaulted. Presumably, OP knows her friends and family and should head this off at the pass by telling them his version of the story. She's a liar who displays epically terrible judgment, and he can no longer trust her. Not the a-hole. She's trying to gaslight you into believing that you're victim blaming her. Yes, Greg is a predator, but that is not why you broke up with her. You read the red flags and gave her warnings that her friend is not who she thinks he is. Cut to her being alone with him in his apartment after saying she would distance herself from him. It's not okay that he was trying to take advantage of her, but that doesn't absolve her of breaking your trust. Two things can be true at the same time. You can feel bad for what happened, but also uphold your boundaries and protect your peace. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my grandparents my late husband's life insurance payout? My husband passed away suddenly last year, leaving me, 35 female, and our 2 kids, 6 male and 4 female, completely heartbroken. He had a life insurance policy that paid out a significant sum, and while it doesn't make up for our loss, it has given us financial security. A few months ago, my in-laws approached me with a request. They want me to give a portion of the money to my late husband's grandparents, his mom's parents. Their reasoning is that they are struggling financially, and my husband would have wanted to help them. I do feel bad for them, but the thing is that they never really had a strong relationship with us. They didn't even come to our wedding, claiming it was too far, even though they travel for vacations all the time. They never made much effort to be in our children's lives either. And now they suddenly think they're entitled to the money my husband left for his family, which, in my mind, means our kids and me. My mother-in-law has been calling me selfish, saying they're elderly and struggling, and that I should honor my husband's memory by helping them. But I feel like this money was meant for our children's future. It's not like I'm hoarding it. I've set up college funds and I'm ensuring we're stable. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your husband's parents are free to help out if they want. You have just gone through a horrible tragedy and are dealing with a lot of uncertainty. You don't know what the future will bring, and you need to provide for your kids first. Right. I don't know all the facts about his grandparents and their financial situation, given that they don't really keep in touch that much. But I imagine that if anything, I would need the support more now that I'm all alone with 2 young kids to raise. Your money that you got from your husband's forethought and empathetic planning. If he had wanted to help his grandparents, he would have bought a policy for them, or would have put them on as a partial beneficiary. Sorry for your loss, and be careful with that money. It has to support you and the kids for a long time. They're old. They'll get over it soon. Not the a-hole. Jesus, I shouldn't be laughing, but I can't stop. Thank you. First of all, I'm so sorry for your loss. I hope you and your children find peace, healing, and love as time goes on. If your husband was smart enough to prepare for such a horrific loss, you know he was doing it with you and the kids in mind. He didn't take out life insurance and go. I feel so at peace knowing Grandma and Grandpa could go on another booze cruise. Use the money for your children and yourself, with no guilt. Next story. Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my husband's coworker, for embarrassing me and my husband? A few months ago, after many years of trying to conceive, my husband, 32 male, and I, 33 female, had a gorgeous, healthy baby boy. My husband and I are Black, which is pertinent to this story. We were over the moon, and family, friends, and co-workers had also been excited for us. Right after I delivered, my husband emailed a birth announcement with a photo of our son to everyone in his office. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and my husband came home fuming after his first day back at work. One of his co-workers informed him that another guy in the office, a new young employee my husband barely knew, had been telling everyone willing to listen that my husband couldn't be our son's father because that baby's too light to be his, and its hair is too long and straight. That's a white man's baby, or an Asian's. This guy proceeded to tell everyone what a sucker my husband was, and that his excitement over finally becoming a dad was blinding him to the reality that he had been cheated on and his wife impregnated by another man. Side note for anyone who's still unaware in 2025, Black babies in general are fairly pale as newborns, and their skin will darken over the first few weeks. Hair changes to a curlier pattern are usually gradual as well. Our son was no exception and is now my husband's mini-me. My husband said he had immediately confronted and questioned the guy, who completely denied saying anything inappropriate and claimed he only said, as a joke, that the baby was too cute to be my husband's. But others in the office confirmed the first co-worker's account. Not only that, the guy had tried to parlay his superior perception skills into some weird form of workplace clout. Fortunately, the guy got moved to a different shift that same week, so my husband didn't have to see him again. That is, until a company event this past weekend. Families were invited, and we took our son. And who should come and insert himself into our group as we were chatting with the boss, but Brown-Noser McMouth. He interrupted our conversation and introduced himself to the boss, shaking his hand. When I realized who he was, my anger came flooding back. And I said, I don't believe we've met, but aren't you the guy who went around telling everyone in the office I must have cheated on my husband with a white or Asian man, and this couldn't be his son? The guy went red and silent. The boss said to him, see me in my office first thing Monday, and walked away. I think someone's fired. My husband said I went too far because it was already over and done with. I said it wasn't done for me until I'd had my say, and I was the one being defamed, not him. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You were slandered in a way that could have negatively impacted your marriage. And you had no real recourse aside from a lawsuit to publicly defend yourself against the public accusation made against you. An opportunity presented itself in this man's continued pompousness. You took it. You made it clear, with your baby now looking just like your husband, that one, he was obviously wrong, and two, that you were hurt by the accusation. Behavior has consequences. The racist part of his slander is also really offensive. The very kindest interpretation is that he's ignorant and happy to broadcast his ignorance to everyone around him, but I expect the kindest interpretation is being way too generous with this guy. I hope he gets his butt handed to him by the boss. You prevented further harassment of other people at the office. Unlikely the dude only targeted you and your hubby. Well done. By standing up for herself. OP has shown others that they can stand up for themselves as well. Agree. OP's courage breaks the cycle of silence, showing others that they don't have to tolerate such behavior. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not splitting the bill when my friend got lobster? So last weekend, me, 21 male, and my friends Jake, 22 male, Sarah, 21 female, and Lisa, 21 female, hit this seafood joint we'd been hyping up. Not crazy fancy, low-key affordable for us working students. I figure we're all keeping it chill. I got crab cakes for $20. Sarah and Lisa got normal stuff too, like $15 to $18 plates. Then Jake goes, "Oh hell yeah, lobster tail $85, and orders it. I asked him if that's what he really wanted because that's expensive as heck, and I didn't think we could cover for him if ever. He said yes, don't worry. I didn't say anything, thinking he's got it covered. Dinner's cool. He's flexing his lobster, whatever. Bill comes, $185. I'm like, okay, my shares may be $25 with tip, but Jake's all, so $46 each? And I'm like, what? His lobster was $85. I say, nah man, I'm not paying for that. I'll do $25. Sarah and Lisa back me up. They weren't splitting either. Jake gets pissy, says, we always split. You're being cheap, it's just dinner. Dude, it's triple my food. I stick to my guns. We all pay separate, but he's acting like I ruined everything. Says I embarrassed him. Texted me later all salty about it. I kinda get it. Splitting's simpler and I could have just eaten the cost. But $85 versus $20 feels wild to me. Did he really just expect us all to split with him after he saw us order cheaper food? He even knew we couldn't cover that much for him. Now he's barely talking to us, and I'm sitting here like, were we the a-holes? Should we have just paid it to keep the vibe good? Jake's the a-hole for ordering an $85 meal and expecting others to help pay for it. Exactly. Dude's out here eating like a king and I'm supposed to bankroll it? Nah. Not the a-hole. He said don't worry. He knew what he was doing. I'd imagine this isn't his first time mooching. Exactly. Actually, this is his first time with us because we barely eat out together. But now I gotta ask around if he's been doing stuff like this with other people. Wait a minute. Then why is Jake saying you always split? He meant it like he splits with friends in general. I split with Lisa and Sarah too when it was just us three, so I think he thought that we would always split no matter what. And Lisa told me she split with Jake before. Not the a-hole. Ditch Jake. He's sulking because his attempt to guilt trip into paying for him didn't work. You're goddamn right I'm ditching him. I currently got a leech myself, always asking me to borrow money, yet has never returned any I lent them. Catch on quickly and ditch people like this as friends. He chose that lobster with the sole intention of having other people help him pay for it.